guys, SWTOR here. In this video you're gonna see some different SWTOR Scoundrel openers and DPS rotations. Unlike PvE, Sustained DPS is not favorite in PvP, but rather best. Best is the most damage you can do in a small amount of time. Since we don't have the survivability to withstand the front lines and fight toe to toe with other melees, SWTOR Scoundrels are perfect for hit and run and lone wolf gameplay. When played properly, they provide some of the highest burst and pressure in game. As we tend to get focused and we can't take hits, Scoundrels need to know how to control the cooldowns to either land a kill or force their opponents to react defensively. Another reason for this spec being bestie is our energy regeneration system. As our energy doesn't generate steadily and our abilities are quite expensive, you'll find yourself in low energy quite fast. If you haven't killed your opponent by the time you hit zero energy, you are screwed. Now, let's go over some of the abilities we're gonna be using and what they do. Scoundrel's core mechanic is Upper Hand. It increases your damage done for 2% and can stack up to 2 times. Upper Hand is granted when you use Blaster Whip or Shoot First, and also when you defeat an opponent. Upper Hand can be spent on 3 abilities: Sucker Punch, a strong melee attack, Pugnacity that increases your energy regeneration, and Blaster Volley, an AoE front cone attack. For PvP, Blaster Volley should not be in your rotation and I would recommend to never use it. You should almost always spend Upper Hand in Sucker Punch during a fight. If you spend points on Flying Fist in round 2, Sucker Punch has a chance to regrant Upper Hand when used on bleeding enemies. Definitely a nice increase in our burst. Even though Sucker Punch is higher in our DPS rotation, Pugnacity should also be used. Spend 1 point on Surprise Comeback and Pugnacity will also heal you for 2% of your health every 3 seconds. Now, that's not a huge deal of healing if we take in consideration that, for example, Marauder's dodge tick for twice that amount, but still it can help you in your DPS uptime, as you'll need less time to heal up after a fight. I usually spend the Upper Hand that I gain from a killing blow on Pugnacity, but I also activate it when I'm either out of combat or my opponent is out of range. I find myself doing this a lot on Hardball, when I usually get knocked down from the platforms. Another core ability is Fletched Round. Fletched Round is in the top tier of Scrapper tree and is our most important ability. When used, it loads around to our shotgun, causing our next Shoot First or Back Blast to do additional bleeding damage for the next 6 seconds, and most importantly, it increases our armor penetration by 30% for 15 seconds. When you activate Fletched Round, you only get a buff that says that the round is loaded and lasts for 20 seconds. You have to use Shoot First or Back Blast to benefit from the armor penetration buff and apply the bleed to your opponent. You must always have the armor penetration buff up and rolling during a fight. That is very important, more important than anything else. In an optional situation, you'll open the fight with Fletched Round and Shoot First, and then you will easily keep the buff up as it lasts for 50 seconds and your Back Blast is in a 12 seconds cooldown. Since Fletched Round buff lasts 20 seconds, but the cooldown on Back Blast is only 12 seconds, it can be in your best interest to get used to cast this after Back Blast in preparation for the next one, rather than immediately before a Back Blast. This strategy is good for energy management, since it has to be used as much as possible, but can fit anywhere in the priority system prior to using the Back Blast. It cuts down on those moments when you're right at the regen cut-off point and Back Blast is up, but you don't have a Fletched Round loaded. Another great ability that is not used often by Scoundrels is Sabotage Charge. It's on a 30 seconds cooldown and can only be used from cover, but it hits a lot and will increase your burst damage. The abilities that you should use in your basic DPS rotation are Shoot First, Back Blast, Sabotage Charge, Sucker Punch and Blaster Whip. Filler abilities for your rotation are Thermal Grenade, Vital Shot and Quick Shot. For bestie situation, I will suggest a higher priority to Thermal Grenade, as it has a 30 meters range and hits up to 5 opponents. Vital Shot is a bleeding damage over time ability that also has a 30 meter range. Some people use it on their rotations, but I have it rather low in my priority list. As I already said, I prefer a bursty hit and run gameplay, so this dot is not taking hard enough and fast for me. I mostly use it when I'm chasing someone that is out of my melee range or to prevent an assassin or an operative from going back to stealth. As Fletched Round Bleed fills the requirements for Flying Fist, I don't really mind leaving Vital Shot out of my rotation. Finally, I would suggest to almost never using a quick shot. It has a small 10 meters range, it costs 17 energy and does little damage. I only use it to land a kill when I'm again chasing someone that I can reach and he's in really low health. Now let's get over some openness, and this is my favorite right here. You always want to start from stealth. Firstly, you use Fletched Round and shoot first. I spent the upper hand to Sucker Punch, and here I got lucky and got the upper hand granted. Now I'll crouch and use Sabotage Charge, plus a whip to get a second upper hand, and as I notice that my bleed has fallen off, I load a Fletched Round followed by a back blast. I'm gonna spend my 2 upper hands to Sucker Punch. As my energy is really low and my Fletched Bleed is about to fall again, I'll use Cool Head, Disappearing Act, Fletched Round and shoot first. Blaster Whip for a second upper hand to spend on Sucker Punch. Finally, as soon as my bleed falls off, Fletched Round and back blast. Sometimes when you are facing an opponent that you want to kill fast, you should try to kill him in a lockdown. Lockdown is the situation when you keep your opponent stunned or incapacitated for a period of time long enough to either land a kill or force him to play very defensive. First of all, you should have to spend 2 points on KO ability to the second from the top tier of Scrapper tree. That way, shoot first will throw down your enemy for 1.5 seconds. If your opponent is a tank and you want to take him by surprise and lower his health without giving him a chance to use any of his defensive cooldown, you should follow your shoot first with a dirty kick. That way you'll have your opponent stunned for a total of 5.5 seconds. Even though you'll be able to drop his health below 50% in that amount of time, you should have filled his resolve bar and you won't be able to stun him for the next seconds. Generally, I would suggest this rotation against healers or tanks that you know that you will be also get focused by a team player, as their resolve bar will be filled and they might have a chance to escape if you are fighting alone. 2 DPS's on a lockdown opponent will guarantee the kill. During a fight, you won't be always able to start your rotation from stealth. That doesn't mean that you can't set a burst. While you engage your opponent, crouch and use Sabotage Charge. Use Disappearing Act, go behind his back and use Fletched Round and shoot first, followed by a back blast and Sucker Punch. Shoot first will trigger the charge and in less than 4 seconds you'll have dealt more than 8k damage. This is an amazing way to finish tough opponents and also a proof that burst is not only beneficial in an opener. Finally, this is my PvE rotation. My goal here is to keep my energy above 60% and only drop below that when my cool head is off cooldown. In PvE, we don't have a rotation but rather a priority list. Pugnacity should always be up, secondly use Fletched Round and back blast as soon as it's off cooldown. Vital Shot should never fall off our target, and then Sucker Punch and Blaster Whip. Our standard attack, Flurry of Bolts, should be used whenever you are closely to 60% of your energy. Our opener is the same as in PvP. That's all for now, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please like, favorite and share. It will help me a lot. Thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe for more Scoundrel videos. See you soon.